So there's been a lot of talk about adaptive AI in College Football 26 since its release, and I have been caught up in the whirlwind with this discussion because of the video I made here where I claim that the adaptive AI that is set to your coach impacts how the CPU plays you. Now, I used a lot of information from some various articles and things I found online, but I also tested this, which a lot of people don't know, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But what has since happened is the sim community seems to be very divided on this. I got people who are kind of on my side with it and say, hey, we'll test it too, and we've tested it and we feel that there's a difference. And then I got the people who are on the complete opposite side that say, no, that is not how it works. EA says that it only impacts how your team performs in simulated games, and it impacts your play call suggestions. It does not impact how the CPU plays you. This is straight from the devs. Straight from the devs. So the same devs that make Madden, the same devs that every year tell me straight from them that penalties at default 50 will result in realistic play or realistic call rates based on NFL data. Same dev. This is straight from the devs too. So if this is straight from the devs, then it has to be true. This is how it functions. So I'm putting out a challenge. Whoever wants to take this on, I will fire up Madden 25. I will go on a stream. Default penalties, default all pro, default all Madden, doesn't matter to me. Average play calls in a game, 130. Data's right there. Average penalties in an NFL game, 12, 11 to 12. If I play a game and I get more, if I hit 12 penalties or more, if I hit the average mark, I will pay you. You want to do $100, $500, up to $1,000, I'll go. But if it doesn't hit that average mark, you have to send me money. Who's taking this bet? This is straight from the devs. Someone should be jumping at this. That's my point, you guys. I understand the devs built something and they say it's supposed to work some way, but that doesn't mean that's always how it ends up functioning in their video game. That's not a shot at EA, that's any video game. All right, and I have been accused of misinformation to the point that claims that my video should be taken down because of how much misinformation I am spreading. And at some point, I just have to defend myself. And that's what this video is. And what better way to defend myself than to show you guys how I tested this theory and drew my conclusion. And I redid the test and I recorded it and I got the video for you guys, and we're going to watch it here right now. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did. I'm going to tell you what we did. I'm going to pull up the screen here. Now, full disclosure, what we're doing here is I am in a test dynasty. I'm with Maryland. We're going to play Boise State. Okay. I am going to run a game as Mad Scientist because that's the one that everyone loves. And based on the feedback I've been getting from my community, I have an idea of how Mad Scientist operates. So we're going to set my coach to Mad Scientist. And then, guys, this doesn't take a lot. 10 plays against the CPU. And what I'm going to do is we're going to run 10 plays at Mad Scientist. Then we're going to run 10 plays on ground because that's the most opposite one. I feel like ground control. And we're going to see how it does. But we got a little more twists and turns in there, surprises for you. Because placebo is 100% inaccurate thing. So how do we determine when something's placebo or not? You'll have to stay through. We're gonna talk about that. So let's go ahead and start the video here. As you can see, I'm gonna show that my coach is gonna be on Mad Scientist. Now what I did, I'm trying to make this as short as I can, you guys, but I didn't want to actually remove any footage to make sure that no one could claim that I was editing things together to make it look one way or the other. So instead what I did is the parts of the video that were irrelevant, I just sped it up. So what we're doing here is I'm on Mad Scientist and I'm going to play defense only. Now, what I'm also doing is to keep things as equal as possible. Is I'm only going to run coach suggestions, call very vanilla defense. That means no shells, no stunts, literally just one of the top two or three play call suggestions that are there. I mean, if there's a situation where like I want to run man here, I want to run zone, I'll look for that. But basically all I'm going to do is run just coach suggestion defense and do nothing else. And we're going to have a run, pass, play counter here for you on the screen, and then we're also going to go ahead and check the stats after 10 plays so you can verify that my run to pass play counter is accurate as we get through this clip. So we're just going to have Boise State run their offense here, and we know that they are a running team based on last year with Genty. So we've already got 2 rushes on Mad Scientist, and this is a playbook that leaves, you know, should lean pretty heavily towards the run, or very balanced, you would at least think. And that's kind of what we are seeing here on Mad Scientist, is we are seeing some balance to their run pass ratio. Will it continue? Will it not? We'll just have to find out. By the way, if anyone is curious, the gameplay you are seeing from the CPU is on my most recent sliders after the title update 2 dropped. And so if you see something that you do like, hey, you know, just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, we're just going to continue trying to get through this. Again, I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible for you guys, but I'm also very thorough in the information as I present it to you, because I think it's important, whether you walk away from this video with your mind changed or not. I think it's important that if there's one thing you take away from this, it's that SGN doesn't just spew random shit. He provides information based on observations he made while testing. Everything gets tested. And not just by me, by typically when I post something, I get a group of people that test and give me their consensus. And that's what I did for the video that I dropped too, is I had the guys who helped me test and create sliders try this out, and it was against the same team. So it's not just, oh, let's play as Mad Scientist versus Cincy, and then when we go and play Mississippi State, it's completely different, you know, or we switch it up and we go play another team, it's completely different. No, you have to play against the same team. So we're going to see here, we're going to have a 5, it was really a 6, I believe it was 6 passes to 4 runs, because it was a pass that the quarterback scrambled on. So we're at a 6-to-4 ratio, which is honestly pretty balanced. That's a good baseline. That's what Boise State's running. Now, if you're on my side on the spectrum, you see that, okay, that was Mad Scientist. If you're on the no, it doesn't impact what Boise does, you're like, well, that's just Boise's adaptive AI. So we're just going to go ahead and switch to ground control, because this is the most opposite that I could think of to Mad Scientist. So we just saw Boise State have a 6-to-4 pass to run ratio. They passed it 6 times, ran it 4 times, 4 running play calls. Scrambling obviously was a pass play call. So we're doing the same thing. We're going to call the same exact vanilla style coach suggestion defense. And let's see how Boise State looks when we switch to ground control, which by all theories is run the ball a lot, control the clock. Well, they start off with a run. Let's go ahead and see what they do on play number 2. Well, we got another run. 2 runs to start off, 3rd and 1. Are they going to run it? Are they going to go play action? We know that they went play action. You know, the chances of them going play action are pretty high on this. They run it again. So we're at 3 straight runs to start off. They had 4 runs the whole time. Again, it's most likely placebo. Let's go ahead and see how it shakes out. They could obviously start passing it a whole bunch here, but we're going to have a read option again. So now they're at 4 runs. They have already matched their total in their first 4 plays as they did on Mad Scientist. So let's go ahead and, well, there's another run. So now they're at 5 runs, 0 pass attempts to start off, 0 passes in their first 5 plays. And again, if you follow along with what ground control you think it does, there's 6, number 6, by the way, this would make sense. And again, is this placebo? It's very well possible. Why weren't they doing this when I was on Mad Scientist? I don't know. But we know that they've ran the ball a 7th straight time to start the game. We know that much, I believe, if my numbers correctly. And we're at 2nd and goal. And what are they doing here? Oh, look at that, another run. So their first 8 plays are all runs the minute we switch to ground control, whereas when it was on Mad Scientist, it was a 60-40 split. So we had to go through another possession to get to, we want 10 plays, and another run. So their first 9 plays are runs when I set my adaptive AI to ground control. And this is the testing I was in, and we finally get a pass. So on ground control, the run pass ratio split to 1-9. When it was on Mad Scientist, it was 6-4. So when I said I had a little bit of a surprise, we're just going to go ahead and verify this real quick. 1 pass attempt in their first 10 plays and 9 rushing attempts from Boise State when we set our adaptive AI to ground control. So how do we make sure this isn't placebo? Because this obviously 100% could be placebo. Of course it could. Well, we're going to go and do this again. We're going to switch my adaptive AI back to Mad Scientist, and we're going to rinse and repeat, y'all. Because if it was truly placebo, this should not be able to be replicated, right? It's a one-off. It was we switched it and the CPU just happened to run the ball a lot that time when you loaded it up. So that means that when we load it back up on Mad Scientist, they could run it a lot again. Absolutely. That's how we would know that it's potentially placebo. Well, we start off with a pass. So it was a run pass option, but they chose pass. Let's see how they continue to do. Well, they're clearly passing here. So now we're at 2 passes to 0 runs to start off. They've already passed it more, switching back to Mad Scientist, than they did the whole time on ground control. Of course, there's still a lot of plays left, so we'll see how things shake out. And there's another pass. So we're up to 3 passes right off the rip from Boise State. Again, calling these run pass options, but they're choosing to pass it. And I'm calling vanilla defense to try to not influence them to do one thing or the other. And there we go. We get a run from Boise State. So we're at a 3-to-1 ratio if my calculations are correct. Let's continue to see how Boise State runs their offense. And another run. We're at 3-2. Now, the first time they ran Mad Scientist, it was fairly balanced, right? It was a 60-40 split in favor of the pass, which is not bad. I would take a 60-40 split run pass ratio from the CPU all day long. Now, we know that we want them to run the ball a little bit more, and here's another run. So it's starting to creep up to be a little bit more balanced as they continue to call more plays. Very interesting to see. And another run, which unfortunately was not successful, so we can almost assume at 3rd and 13 they're going to be passing it here. But let's go ahead and continue through as we get the pass there to see how it shakes out, how the numbers shake out for them when we get through these 10 plays. We'll speed up the video. Like I said, I'm trying to cut out the fat where I can for you guys, but I didn't want to edit anything out because I didn't want to be accused of anything. I wanted all the raw footage in here, so I just sped that stuff up so no one can come and say, oh, I manipulated the footage. That's the last thing I want. And we get another run. And this looks very similar to the first time that they ran Mad Scientist. With the 6-4, they look to be pretty balanced in the run-pass ratio, and that was a pass attempt, so we'll call that a pass attempt. And that is going to bring us to, I believe, a 50-50 split. So the first time was 6-4, and that was a pass. It's going to count as a rush attempt, but we know that that was a pass. So that's going to give us what looks to be a 50-50 split. Very, very similar to the first time we were on Mad Scientist. So to make sure this isn't placebo, we're going to go back and we're going to do it again. We're going to go switch back to ground control. And we're going to run another 10 plays. Now, at what point does placebo transition into consistency transition into maybe it's not placebo, right? Because I can totally understand if just happenstance, changing the adaptive AI against a team and your experience changed, like, oh my God, I could understand one time, I can understand it's placebo. But if we're able to here switch to ground control again and then load the game back up, and then suddenly Boise State looks very similar to how they did the first time we were on ground control, after we see them looking very similar both times they're on Mad Scientist, how is that still placebo, right? That seems very consistent to me. So we're at first play is a run, because you're going back and forth, and it's the two that are the same are consistent both times. Isn't that no longer placebo? Run number 2. I guess I'm looking for what does it take as far as evidence for people to say, okay, maybe he's not crazy. I can see why he made the video. I can see where he came from. He tested this. He saw this was happening. And based on watching him switch to ground control and seeing how the game played out versus when he had it on a different adaptive AI, I can see the 2 and 2 being put together despite what the devs are saying. And I can see that is how SGN concluded what he concluded and made the video. Because I don't know what else I need to do. This is gonna be the last I talk about this, but I am going to just show exactly what I did. So this was a pass play, but with a penalty of an ineligible man downfield, this is going to get negated. So the pass play is not going to count, but it's going to make it 1st and 15. So you'd think they're going to go ahead and pass it again and keep the pass play that was going to be there. That's what we would assume, but they run it again. So we're starting off with nothing but runs again, I believe. 4 straight runs to start the game. Very similar to the first time we were on ground control. Very opposite to how both games on Mad Scientist started. 5 straight runs. Well, I'll be, I'm trying not to swear, but 6 straight runs. I swear, man, I don't like being accused of being a misinformation merchant. I don't like being said that I just spew nonsense. This is what I was seeing when I was testing. And I'm frustrated, y'all. Because this is no longer placebo. If you can go back and forth, and it's consistent, how is it placebo? If I got countless people in my YouTube comments telling me their experience changed, how is it placebo? If I got countless people in my Discord telling me what they're noticing playing games and changing out to a different adaptive AI, how is it placebo? And when you have footage like this, where the run pass ratio is completely different on ground control versus Mad Scientist, how is that placebo? And how am I crazy for making the video that I made? Like I said, this is going to be the last that I talk about this, but I was just overwhelmingly frustrated, man. People, my guy Mills is on the other end of the spectrum on this, and he gets frustrated because he says a lot of people come after him about the adaptive AI. Brother, as many people are coming after you about the adaptive AI from it impacting the CPU, I have the same amount of people coming after me from your side of the aisle. I just want you to know. And it gets frustrating because I don't spread misinformation, I at least not intentionally. This is where I drew my conclusions. This is what I was seeing. This is what other people are seeing. And I think having 2 straight games after going back and forth on Mad Scientist be 60-40 run pass ratio, 50-50 run pass ratio, and then going to ground control was a 9-1 and an 8-2. Something's there, right? I don't know, y'all. Anyways, that's that's the video. I just wanted to defend myself a little bit and let you guys see why I made the video, my perspective on it, and hopefully we can put this all to rest. Everyone can go about their business, believe what you want to believe, play the game how you want to play it. The game's fun. It's got a lot of potential. I'm enjoying the game. Let's just have a great year of College Football 26, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Peace.